Hey TTI family! Today we're heading to the beautiful French countryside Normandy. To be exact, where Max and Le Chanterides are rolling up their sleeves and building their dream home from scratch. The ground here shifts with the seasons and can get super damp. So, before even thinking about foundations, our brave couple gets a full geotechnical survey done to check what's going on under the surface. Once the house plans are locked in and all the paperwork is sorted, it's time to dig in literally. Excavation begins, carefully and methodically. Then come the foundations. And inside that, they lay down a crisscross grid of rebar basically, steel bones to keep everything strong and steady. Next up, blockwork. They start laying down the first row of concrete blocks along a marked line. Each block is set on a thick layer of mortar, which helps stick things together and smooth out any tiny bumps in the foundation. The key here is getting each block perfectly level. A little mistake now could mess up the whole wall later, so they're constantly checking with spirit levels and measuring tapes. Down at ground level, things are also moving. The couple pours a concrete footing for the upcoming stairs, making sure it's perfectly level and thick enough to hold up over time. As things move along, the garage wall takes shape. First, the wooden sections are cut and drilled to line up with holes in the concrete blocks below. These holes hold special anchor dowels that keep the wooden frame locked in tight. Underneath all this, they add a leveling strip that keeps the wall even and helps prevent moisture from sneaking up into the wood. It's slow, detailed work, but this couple is turning a dream into reality, one carefully measured plank at a time. Let's watch the magic unfold. For the walls, they're using engineered wooden planks, basically super strong, multi-layered wood that won't warp or twist when the weather gets moody, which, in Normandy, it does a lot. Before these planks go on, the couple lets them settle in at the site for a few days so they adjust to the local humidity. Then comes the fun part. They start assembling a massive 12-meter long wooden wall. Each section is lined up carefully so it's straight and solid. Above the block walls, they install strong wooden joists to support the floor. Between those beams, they pack cellulose insulation by hand. It's messy but makes the home super cozy and energy efficient. With temporary bracing in place to hold everything upright, they check each stud with levels and plumb lines to make sure it's standing tall and straight. Openings for doors and windows are built in, and once the wall is fully up, they add diagonal braces in key spots to lock everything in place. Once ready, each plank is nailed or screwed into place with precision nothing too wild, just lots of repetition and measuring twice before locking it down. Once one section of the wall is done, they wrap it with a black breathable membrane you might catch in some shots labeled Delta Vent. That stuff is designed to keep moisture out while still letting the wall breathe, kind of like a raincoat for the house that doesn't trap sweat. At the same time, our duo tackles the roof structure. They're using prefabricated trusses, which they lift into place and brace temporarily to keep everything spaced right and standing tall. Once those big pieces are in, they add extra elements like collar ties and ceiling joists to pull it all together. Then comes the fun part, covering the roof just like they did the walls. This means more planks, more wrapping, and extra attention around the joints where water could sneak in. Everything gets stapled, sealed, and layered like a giant protective burrito. Bonus: using the same material for the walls and roof simplifies things and helps avoid weak spots in the structure. With the outside coming together, it's time to shift focus to insulation and waterproofing. They lay down rigid insulation panels, usually PIR or EPS, cutting them to fit perfectly around any pipes or vents. Then a waterproof membrane goes over the top. Meanwhile, back at the walls, they're sealing every gap, seam, and joint between the blocks with top-notch sealants to keep the structure air and watertight. Ventilation is not forgotten either. They start adding the first vent so any sneaky moisture trapped behind the wrap can escape. Goodbye, future mold! Around here, homes are built to stand up to the wet, wild weather. You'll often see thick stone walls, slate roofs, and charming timber framing called Columbage-exposed wood beams forming the skeleton of the structure. It's old-school craftsmanship adapted for today's needs. Then, those beautiful timber frames we keep seeing? They're not just for show. In traditional Norman construction, the gaps between the beams were often filled with materials like brick, plaster, or even wattle and daub. The exposed wood gives the building a unique rhythm and charm. Over time, builders treated these frames with natural oils to help them survive the region's famously damp weather. In this modern version, the couple keeps the style alive, but swaps in engineered wood and protective coatings to make everything longer lasting. Weather delays? Check. Last-minute changes on site? Definitely. Material shortages? Oh yeah, those too. But instead of letting it all get to them, they tackled each problem as a team. Working side by side, they learned how to communicate better, make decisions together, and support one another when things didn't go as planned. To finish, they waterproof the lower foundation using a bitumen or cement-based coating. Once that dries, they install a dimpled drainage mat, which keeps soil off the wall and lets water drain away properly. It's all coming together slowly, surely, and super solid. Let's keep watching this house rise. They start clearing out overgrown brush and stray vegetation, because let's be honest, no one wants their dream home surrounded by a jungle of weeds. But it's not just about making things look pretty. Keeping the area around the foundation clear helps with drainage and future landscaping too. Speaking of drainage, next up they lay a flexible, perforated pipe all around the base of the foundation. These little holes in the pipe might not look like much, but they're key. They let water in and carry it away so it doesn't build up against the foundation walls. Meanwhile, they start cutting out the window and door openings. Once the holes are made, they reinforce the frames with extra headers and add skills to keep everything square and strong. The windows are then placed carefully, shimmed to sit perfectly level and centered not just for looks, but so they actually open and close right. The doors follow the same process. They check the frame is level and plumb before slotting in the door unit, making sure everything fits like a glove. What's really cool is how Max and Le Chanterides are blending modern building methods with Normandy tradition. Back on the walls, the couple adds battens those slim wooden strips that create a small air gap between the cladding and the weatherproof wrap underneath. That gap helps moisture escape and gives the cladding a solid surface to attach to. With those in place, they're ready for the finishing exterior layers. Next up, windows. Now, Normandy's weather is no joke. It's humid, rainy, and chilly most of the year, so Max and Le Chanterides are using high-performance windows designed for exactly that. These bad boys come with multiple layers of glass and are filled with gases like argon or krypton between panes. That helps keep the heat in during winter and out during summer. And what about the window frames? They're made of UPVC, aluminum, or thermally broken wood-tough materials that hold up well in harsh climates. With the battens done and windows in, it's finally time to start installing the wood cladding the final outer skin of the house. Each board is attached vertically over the battens using rust-resistant screws. They double-check each piece with a level to make sure everything lines up perfectly. As they near the entrance, the couple shifts focus to the front entryway. They trim the boards with care, especially around windows and doors, cutting everything to precise dimensions. Flashing and trim pieces are added here too, making sure rain doesn't sneak inside. Now we're really starting to see this house come to life, and wow, it's looking amazing. The aesthetic is dialed in with vertical wooden cladding that gives the whole structure a warm, natural vibe. That vertical orientation isn't just for looks, it draws your eyes upward and makes the walls feel taller, adding height and elegance without any extra effort. The wood's rich texture plays beautifully against the clean lines of the build, striking that perfect balance between rustic charm and modern design. And let's not forget the roof. Over the wooden sheathing, they roll out a synthetic underlayment. This breathable layer acts like a backup raincoat if any water gets past the main roofing. This underlayment channels it away to keep the structure underneath dry and happy. Bit by bit, this house is turning from a wooden skeleton into a warm, weatherproof dream. It's a nod to Normandy's traditional architecture, but with a fresh, updated twist. Speaking of tradition, the couple decided to stick with the classic steeply pitched roof that's so iconic in this region. But instead of going with slate or clay tiles like the old-school Norman homes, they're mixing it up with sleek, modern metal panels. Before laying the metal roofing, they focus on a very important but often overlooked task: the gutters. These are key for keeping rainwater away from the structure, especially in rainy Normandy. They take their time measuring and marking the fascia to make sure everything's angled just right for water to flow smoothly. Once the brackets are in place, the pre-cut gutter sections are slotted in and adjusted with care to form one long, seamless line. Corners and tricky spots around doors and windows get special attention too, with added flashing and corner pieces to make sure everything fits perfectly and stays dry. Once the gutters are locked in, it's time for the main roofing job. They bring up the custom-cut metal panels, each one made to fit like a glove. These panels are designed to interlock, overlapping slightly to form a tight, waterproof seal that keeps out even the most determined raindrops. On the gable ends, they continue the same process, cutting and fitting each piece with precision for a polished finish. The two of them work together like a well-oiled machine lines things up while the other locks them down. It's a rhythm they've clearly gotten used to. The result is a low-maintenance, long-lasting metal roof that's as durable as it is stylish. Through all of this, it's clear the couple isn't just constructing a building, they're creating a home that reflects their values, style, and commitment to sustainability. By using local materials, traditional methods, and eco-conscious choices, they're making something truly special and leaving a much lighter footprint on the planet in the process. Now, it's time for another chapter in Max and Le Chanterides' epic Normandy house build. With the walls and roof taking shape, the couple hits pause on hammering and turns their attention to something equally important: cleaning up the land around the site. Building this house wasn't just about putting up walls and a roof. It turned into one of the biggest learning adventures of their lives. Along the way, they picked up hands-on skills in everything from structural design to keeping water out and getting that perfect finish on the exterior. What started as a construction project slowly turned into a masterclass in teamwork. Every part of this house reflects that growth. It's a blend of modern tools and old-school craftsmanship, shaped by late nights, trial and error, and a lot of coffee. Every detail, from the structure itself to the final coat of finish, was carefully thought through. The high-tech parts of the house, like the weather-resistant panels and energy-efficient roof and gear, built to handle the wild Normandy weather. But at the same time, it's warm, welcoming, and full of personal touches. Even the garden wasn't just thrown, it was planned and planted with care, creating a peaceful spot where nature and design come together. The whole process took grit, patience, and a ton of dedication, but in the end, they didn't just build a house. They built a life. And that finished home is not just beautiful, it's a living symbol of everything they've learned, built, and become together.